Funds were made available to the city through the USDA and Reinvestment Fund, according to USDA State Director for Rural Development, Rob Morgan. The announcement was made on November 1st, 2024. According to the press release received by Patillo, the funds will help expand member-owner enrollment, community outreach activities, and increase co-op education and organizing support. Although Pennsylvania is a major supplier of electricity from coal and gas, solar energy is gaining ground as federal incentives are helping local companies adopt solar power, reducing costs, their carbon footprints, and using less energy by a significant margin. Danielle Smith reports on one company's solar success.
Randy Groff of Four Seasons Produce in Africa says his company has installed a total of 3 megawatts of solar panels across its roof, partly in 2018, then doubling its solar capacity this year. He says the tax credits that funded these upgrades were made available through the Inflation Reduction Act.
We also took advantage of the 40% bonus depreciation on both projects. We received a Pennsylvania Solar Energy Grant for the first project. That was $500,000. And then this current project that we just finished up in 2024, we're receiving a PP&L utility rebate of $500,000.
Groff says the combination of tax credits, grants, and rebates has helped the company reduce the payback period for its new solar array to less than 5 years.
The investigation continues regarding a suspect who was driving in Cranberry Township and caused a crash that was a hit and run. Police have confirmed that on Wednesday, just earlier than 7 a.m., the crash occurred when a 28-year-old man was hit when walking close to Franklin Road. If anyone has seen the crash or was around the incident when it happened, please call either the police of Cranberry Township, which is 724-776-5180, or the Butler County Communications Center through 724-282-1221. And on Wednesday, a boy who is 13 years old is being charged after bringing a gun to Ambridge Area Middle School. According to Beaver County District Attorney Nate Bible, the teen suspect has been arrested, had the gun both secured and locked in preparation, while the gun was owned by the parents of the boy. Another student was also threatened by the suspect, and after that occurred, that student let school officials know what just happened. Parents of students from the school also received a letter noting that the incident was so serious that it involved the presence of police. A Facebook post from Ambridge Area Middle School from Wednesday states that not only will the place close today, Thursday, November 14th, but will also operate today on flexible instruction and will open back up on Friday.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Cloudy with showers expected off and on through most of the day. It's going to be breezy with wind gusts over 20 miles per hour. We'll see a high near 46. Cloudy with showers tonight will drop down to a low around 42. There's a chance we'll see some rain through early afternoon tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll be mostly cloudy. We'll reach a high of 55 and an overnight low around 40. And mostly sunny on Saturday. We'll see highs in the mid-50s and a low of 33. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
On this Thursday, November 14th of 2024, at 10 minutes after 9, we've got a temperature of 42 degrees with some rain out there in Beaver County currently. That's the look at the news for now. I am Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Teleforum is on the air on Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP. The show is presented by East Rochester and Tuska Shop and Saves. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddie Crow.
It is Teleforum, but it's a special day of Teleforum because my guest for the first hour will be participating in his last Rapping with the Reps, and because of that, you get the stage. Representative Jim Marshall, 14th District. Jim is my guest today. When's your last day?
November 30th.
Are you allowed to keep rocking the state representative shirt after November 30th? Where does that fall?
Probably not.
No?
I mean,
what are you going to do with them? donate them?
I don't know yet. I might save some. I might just cut the patch off and keep that. But I have a number of them, but they've held out great over the years for sure.
Jim announced on this show, was it a year ago?
Yes, sir, a year ago.
That you weren't going to run for re-election. And who's got your gig? Roman Kozak now has your gig.
Yes.
Has it sunk in? Have you looked forward to the day, November 30th, more? Or have you, at any point, have you second-guessed?
There were probably a couple of days in Harrisburg when I thought, maybe I should have won another term, or, maybe this wasn't the right time. But I suppose everyone has those second thoughts, but really not too many. It's been pretty focused on it's time to go and someone else's turn.
Did you feel pressure to get stuff done? Did you want to hurry up and get done what you thought you were going to have a chance to get done if you had stayed?
Well, from last November on, I thought I really needed to accomplish a few things legislatively. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's been work as usual.
What did you feel like, all right, before I go, I want to accomplish this?
Well, I've introduced a lot of legislation over the years, and it usually comes from someone in the district that has an idea that we should be able to have this as a law in Pennsylvania. But one of the opportunities that we have as a state rep is to name highways or bridges for individuals.
Okay.
And some of my colleagues say, well, that nobody really cares about that.
Oh, I think they do.
But many of my colleagues say someone really cares about that. Mm-hmm. And I thought early in my first or second term, I named a section of Route 18, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Highway. Mm-hmm. And the idea came from Skip Haswell, who was president of the VVA in Beaver County. So Skip recently passed, and I talked to his widow about would she like to have a bridge in Beaver County named in his honor, and she was very excited to do that. He did a lot for Beaver County. He was a police officer. He worked for Medic Rescue. He formed the Vietnam Veterans Association here. So his widow...
He was a helper.
He was.
Yeah.
And he got things done quietly, firmly. Great guy. So his widow and I chose the bridge between Koppel and Elwood City. It's really north of Sewickley, but the Koppel Bridge we call, because Skip was originally from Elwood City, and that bridge connects to the Vietnam Veterans Highway that he initially named. So I was able to do that, and then 3 other bridges in the county for other veterans. And each of them meant something to either the neighborhood or the veterans here. Private Malin Evans served in World War II. He was injured in the battle just after Normandy in the hedgerows at St. Lo. But then he came home, and he was a student at Geneva, raised a family here, retired from Standard Steel.
People that we should know
People
about.
that we should know and we should honor and remember. And the other 2 bridges were the new bridges that will carry the turnpike across the Beaver River. They're not completed yet, but when they are, one will be Colonel Joe Thompson, who's a Medal of Honor winner from World War I, did a lot for the county. And the other was the Colonel Matthew Quay, who was at one point Prothonotary in Beaver County and did really a lot to get Beaver County on the map in Pennsylvania. And they all did great things for the country that they served, but also quite a lot for Beaver County.
What does it feel like to know that you're leaving history bookmarks for people?
I don't know. I really hadn't thought about that to tell you the truth. But
It's important.
anything that you say on the House floor, it's recorded into history. I hadn't really thought of that impact because I'm still in the moment with that. But a friend, my administrative assistant in Harrisburg, created a scrapbook for me with photo memories. And
That's nice.
so very emotional, but just captured a lot over the 18 years.
What are you going to miss the most? What are you going to miss the least?
I miss the people. I mean, the serving at any level can be really a personal contact. You have relationships with the people that you serve with. I'll miss that. That'll be tough. The time, there's a lot of downtime.
I know. Taxpayers complain when they're in session, when they're not, all that.
Well, even when we're not in session, we're often more busy in the district.
Because you're home.
Because we're home.
Yeah.
But in session, we caucus legislation, we debate on the floor. There's a lot going on, but it's still that those times can be challenging, and you wonder if we could be more productive if there was less discussion.
Is it the squeaky wheel gets the grease when it comes to trying to get a system, an institution, more productive, or does it just finally in your head you go, okay, this is how it moves? What happened with you?
Well, it varies. I mean, certainly there are times the squeaky wheel gets greased. I mean, you really have to be aware of a situation or a concern that someone has, and then determine, is it really a state-related concern? We get folks that come in all the time that have an issue that could be a neighbor issue, it could be a county issue, a school board issue. So, you have to really weed through what can the state really accomplish, and then do your best to get that done. But if the wheel doesn't squeak, you don't know that there's a concern, right? So
right.
You have to have people engage with you.
State Representative Jim Marshall is my guest. 14th District is wrapping with the reps. I'm not going to get to say that anymore after today. You got 2 weeks and 2 days. What's the itinerary for the last 2 weeks and 2 days in Harrisburg, or dealing with Harrisburg?
Well, for me, there won't be very much left to engage in Harrisburg. We're in session this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Passed some legislation, had some leadership changes. I don't have anything left in Harrisburg. Everything's back home. So I'll be focused on the district and the people here. Back in the office today. There's things I need to wrap up. Certainly a little bit more paperwork to do. But I'll be in the district for the next 2 weeks and busy as usual.
You mentioned earlier about being not more progressive, more efficient. How much does that concept back up when there is a new election and new people? You've seen a lot of them in 18 years.
I don't think efficiency drops when there's new people. I think that part of that is the House, everyone's up for re-election every 2 years, so there could be significant change. But as long as you can retain some of the staff and some of the members come back that have the institutional knowledge to know how things operate. The Senate, they do it. Half of them are up every 2 years. So it's a 4-year term, and they probably retain a little bit more institutional knowledge with that method. But it takes great staff, and you have to really focus on the issues with them.
What is the institutional knowledge? You referenced it twice. What is that knowledge that you didn't know when you started that you could explain to a newcomer now?
Well, when I was elected, I only knew one state representative, and that was the one that I had just beaten. I didn't know.
So you're not going to call him for advice? Would he have called you back?
I didn't have any personal problem with him, but
Okay.
we really didn't exchange information.
Okay.
I didn't get information or staff from him.
Yeah, that's a tough call. Hey, sorry I beat you. How does this stuff
How does
work?
this work now? Yeah, and I mean, I didn't know anyone really in Harrisburg, so there was a learning curve. This year, Roman Kozak was elected for the 14th seat, which I held. He had so much more knowledge of the system and than I did when I started. So I think he's already ahead of the game. He worked in the legislative office for Jim Christiana many years ago. He has been involved in elections here, and he's a history teacher. So he knows what's happened before, and he can step right in. He's retaining the same staff in the district. He'll have different staff in Harrisburg than I had, but as a freshman, he'll be placed with another member. They'll share one administrator, and they'll
like a big legislator, little
it's
legislator
it's
process?
like the Big Brother
Okay.
process. And it's a great idea. It helps freshmen to really get around and understand. And part of it is where am I supposed to go, and where's caucus, and but there's been changes over the years that have been helpful. We get text messages now when session starts, when it's at ease, when it's over, when caucus is. So that's been really helpful.
Where do you get a staff? What is a staff? How many people? What do they do? What are the specialties? Because that's part of it. You can't do it by yourself.
Right. So in Harrisburg, each caucus has a pool of staff that they may change.
What are loner people, like a secretarial pool?
They have a secretarial pool. There are, and what they call the loners are floaters. And there really aren't that many floaters because, it's hard to find people to work.
Jim. What's a floater?
Part-time, a I don't know, just
somebody that, hey, we need somebody here, and they go, really?
Yeah, they have
okay,
an extra person to fill in. But again, there really aren't many. I mean, there might be one or two in each caucus that could float from one office to another.
Okay, so you need your own people.
Yeah, you really need. You have one person up there that really helps you navigate everything in Harrisburg, and then the district. It could depend on the geographic size of the district. I mean, some people have more than one district office. Depending on the density of the district you have.
What is a good background for somebody to want to do that job? Political, if you go to school, are you talking about a political science major? Are you talking about a marketing major?
There are a lot of political science majors that are staff in Harrisburg or members in Harrisburg. Mm-hmm. But for me, the person that really is successful in the district is someone that has a background of engaging with people. So I found that one of my staff I met at McDonald's, and
they were loving it. They were loving it.
Yeah.
How do you meet somebody at McDonald's and go, you know what, you should be in government?
Yeah.
Is that how?
It happens. I met somebody, amazing. One of my staff I met at a polling place, and just engaging with her for a couple minutes, I understood that she had a knack for problem solving and relating with people. You want somebody that can see someone that comes in and that constituent might be emotional and raw and aggressive, and you see sometimes people at maybe their worst, and you have to be able to help them get through, to be able to communicate what their need is. People that come into the district have maybe they need help with PennDOT issue, driver's license. They might have a DUI.
They're not coming to see you because of something good most of the time.
Right. It's something bad has happened to them. A lot of them, it's their insurance lapsed. lapsed, and how can we help them with that? So it could be really anything, but we do get a lot of requests specific for PennDOT. So I think somebody that's a great people person, somebody that worked in a Home Depot, somebody that worked in anything where you're relating with people to some extent, bank tellers or radio personalities.
Oh, dear Lord, don't look at me and smile. Do you really think I could relate to? No, sir, no. How? No way. And you and I have spoken off air. God bless you, the work you do. When somebody shows up and screams, it's not going to help. And if you can't do anything about it, no. I've got a T-shirt that says "I hate people" on it, Jim.
I don't have one of those.
What are you going to? You know what? Let me do news. I want to ask you after the break. What are you going to do to help people after you're done with this? Because I would suspect, or I hope that's a part of your plans. 14th District State Representative Jim Marshall is my guest. As a representative for the last time, yes, there will be cake after.
Oh my goodness, Amy, it's so good to see you.
Jennifer, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Is your mom doing any better?
Thank you for asking. I don't know if I can answer without being emotional. I'm sorry. I'm just tired and worried. I can't always be there for her, and it's so stressful.
I really understand. That's how I was with my dad. I'd recommend calling St. Barnabas. We did. We started with just having them come in for home care. He was so excited to see them show up. And when he needed more, we were able to move him in at Beaver Meadows, where he still has his own home-like space and excellent care.
Thanks for telling me that. I don't even know how to start, but I have to do something.
Oh, you can just give St. Barnabas a call. They have directors that can explain how it all works. Trust me, you'll feel so much better, and so will your mom.
I'm so glad I ran into you.
Visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-443-0700 for care apart from the ordinary.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George. Since 1934, they've been committed to the physical and financial recovery of personal injury victims. Why choose the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George? Attorney Larry Kelly explains.
First of all, we've been AV rated by Martindale Hubbell. It's the highest rating you can get for legal ability and ethics, and that comes from our peers. We have board-certified civil trial specialist, which is like another bar exam. Would you go to a doctor who is not board-certified? Probably not. I've always said, and I tell my daughters, I have 3 daughters who are attorneys. Those in the profession know. The lawyers of LGKG have the respect of our peers, and that's all I ever cared about.
For your free initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
Lincoln Park Performing Arts Center in Midland presents Oliver Jr. November 15th through the 24th. This 60-minute junior adaptation of the Dickens classic is a perfect outing for the whole family. Tickets start at just $18. Visit LincolnParkArts.org.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Good morning. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP. It'll be a high near 46 degrees today. We will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. On Wednesday, Secretary of the Commonwealth Al Schmidt declared that since the race for the United States Senate between Democrat Bob Casey and Republican David McCormick is so close, the votes will officially be counted again. When 4 p.m. on Wednesday occurred, Casey had less votes than by just more than 29,000. According to the Pennsylvania Department of State, the difference in percentage for votes between the two candidates is 0.43%, with Casey having 48.5% and McCormick with 48.93%. Pennsylvania law reveals that the only way a recount is possible is if the vote difference is less than or equal to 0.5%. Schmidt's statement asserts that November 20th will be the official date that the counting will begin. Casey and his team have been patient on the outstanding votes that are still yet to be determined. while McCormick is already thinking about the votes that led his successful campaign as he finished his speech in Pittsburgh addressing winning the race, as well as spending time in Washington during the week adjusting to becoming a member of the Senate. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano reports that the Aliquippa Food Co-op Steering Committee received a grant. Steering Committee member Ty Patillo announced that a $150,000 grant was made available through the USDA Healthy Food Finance Initiative. The funds were made available to the city through the USDA and Reinvestment Fund, according to USDA State Director for Rural Development Rob Morgan. The announcement was made on November 1st, 2024. According to the press release received by Patillo, the funds will help expand member-owner enrollment, community outreach activities, and increase co-op education and organizing support. In Beaver, tree trimming and the former Times building were topics of discussion at the Commissioner's work session on Wednesday. Beaver County Radio's Curtis Walsh has more.
At the Commissioner's work session, a situation was brought to the Commissioner's attention regarding trees at the courthouse. There are currently trees standing higher than the courthouse and are said to be creating problems, particularly at this time of year with drains on the roof. The county will be taking bids on having the trees trimmed down below the height of the roof. Another topic of discussion brought up once again was the former Beaver County Times building. The county has arranged another appraisal of the building from an Erie County-based company, San Martino, Stout, and Low Presti, Inc. Treasurer Sandy Egley asked the commissioners for confirmation that the company has no connections to the courthouse, in which they replied that they do not. From Beaver, this is Curtis Walsh reporting for Beaver County Radio News.
On Wednesday, a boy who is 13 years old is being charged after bringing a gun to Ambridge Area Middle School. According to Beaver County District Attorney Nate Bible, the teen suspect has been arrested, had the gun both secured and locked in preparation, while the gun was owned by the parents of the boy. Another student was also threatened by the suspect, and after that occurred, that student let school officials know what just happened. Parents of students from the school also received a letter noting that the incident was so serious that it involved the presence of police. A Facebook post from Ambridge Area Middle School from Wednesday states that not only will the place be closed today, Thursday, November 14th, but will also operate today on flexible instruction and will open back up on Friday. And according to a release from the Pennsylvania Insurance Department, the Department of Human Services, and Penny on Wednesday, the open enrollment period for Penny is underway and is giving options for health insurance that those can afford in 2025. The release states that the due date that Pennsylvanians are able to enroll by is December 15th, 2024, as well as being prepared to go through each option to find a plan that suits them. The release also notes that Penny also has partnered with the Medicaid program here in Pennsylvania to make sure their savings can increase through the health plans of Penny that are private. For more information, the phone number to call and the website to visit can be viewed on our website at beavercountyradio.com.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Cloudy with showers expected off and on through most of the day. It's going to be breezy with wind gusts over 20 miles per hour. We'll see a high near 46. Cloudy with showers tonight will drop down to a low around 42. There's a chance we'll see some rain through early afternoon tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll be mostly cloudy. We'll reach a high of 55 and an overnight low around 40. And mostly sunny on Saturday. We'll see highs in the mid-50s and a low of 33. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
On this Thursday, November 14th of 2024 at 35 minutes after 9, we've got a temperature of 41 degrees with some rain out there currently in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Now, it's time to talk on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio. 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, and beavercountyradio.com. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddie Crow.
Today, it's weird. I've looked forward to this day, but a part of me, I find this day a little bit sad. For the last time, appearing on Rapping with the Reps, 14th District State Rep Jim Marshall is my guest, and it's for the last time because 2 weeks and 2 days, November 30th. Is that that's your last official day as a state rep?
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do the very next day?
Well, I'd like to say I'm going to Kennywood, but
why not?
Wrong season, I think.
No, you can always go to Kennywood. They had Halloween. They'll have Christmas. What are you doing the day after?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really need to spend some time with my wife and family. That's probably important.
How difficult was it? And if you don't want to answer, I totally understand. When you were a public figure like you have been for 18 years, what are some of the things that your family has to deal with that you never thought would enter into the picture? Is it being away as much as you're away? Is it the public eye?
It's being away when you're home, more so than being away when you're away, because you're always going to something, dinner for an organization. There's so many things in the district that take up time, but it's funny. There's no quick trips to anywhere when you're in public office. I go to the grocery store and to get bread and milk, and it's 45 minutes to do that. But I didn't mind that. I think you get a lot of information that way. I used to go to municipal meetings. When you think about it, how many municipalities meetings there are if you have 30 or more municipalities, and you really learn a lot what people go to the meetings to share their concerns. You learn things you might not otherwise. So, I think there's certainly value in going to those meetings, and we have so many great organizations in the county, nonprofits. There's just so much information out there that is shared at events in the evening.
Can you be a successful or effective representative without going to all of those meetings? Are there people that try it that way?
Yeah,
because the fifth pancake breakfast in a row is going to wear on some people.
Everybody does it differently, and there's no real method that works. You just have to figure it out yourself. And a lot of times members will say, what's really important? And as long as you're authentic and people trust you, then they'll come to you with what their concerns are. So that's important. And whether you get their attention at the grocery store or if they come to the office, you just have to be able to spend some time with people that you represent. You have to have an idea what's on their mind to really represent them the best way you can.
How are you going to represent people now that you're not going to be a representative of the people?
I'm going to find a way to continue to help people. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure exactly in what way I'll do that. I had some people ask me to run for local offices. I'm not sure. That's still up in the air.
Why are you considering doing that, and why are you considering not doing that? It's still up in the air, you say.
The challenge of anything in the public to me is social media, because people will say anything without any accountability, and it can be it can spread disinformation. It could be hurtful. So that part of it is, for me, the difficult part. What they're saying on their platform that may or not be true. But it's still rewarding to be able to solve problems. So as long as I can find a way to solve problems and have an impact, I'm considering, I had an offer or two to be on local boards to help solve their problems. So there are a lot of ways you can still engage.
Are we semi-functional when it comes to solving problems right now, legislatively in the Commonwealth? Or are we yelling at each other from the blue side or the red side?
There are challenges in Washington that I can't really go into, but in Harrisburg, sure, there's a group. I mean, there's groups of members that just are really political and
dogmatic.
Oh, that's a good word. But there are people that have a committee like I did that on consumer protection. Rob Matzey and I worked well together. The party didn't matter. The House Education Committee was the same way. The House Local Government Committee was the same way. There are committees that are completely functional. Emergency Response Committee, Emergency Preparedness, those are issues that aren't necessarily political. Others, like the Judicial Committee, were there's a little more friction there, but I would say they're still functional despite the elections.
Why don't we know more about those well-functioning committees?
I really don't know, Eddie. I mean, a lot of people don't know who their state representative is, let alone what they do. I mean, that's just reality. Everybody's busy.
Is that not does that not beat you down?
No.
You're spending your life trying to help, trying to represent people, and you look up and half of them are stopping you at the shop and save, and the other half don't know who you are.
No, that doesn't bother me. I think just some people that maybe have an ego that might be in a bubble that's not reality, that might be a problem, but that's not me.
You, for the next 16 days, are the state representative to the 14th District. Jim Marshall is my guest. What have you never said that you've always wanted to say? Because now's the time.
No,
unless you mess something else up with one of them boards, I guess maybe it's not. But
not happening. Eddie.
Not happening?
Not happening.
Can't bait you into it?
No, there's just no way. Because once you say something, you can't take that back. It's like it's like the feather in the wind. Once it's in the wind. So I really don't have anything negative to say. There's no value in looking at or saying negative things. You just have to really focus on being positive and moving the agenda forward.
You were talking about social media earlier.
I could say negative things about that, but I'm
social
still not.
media. Well, in some instances, how much do we live in a world where negative things do end up being beneficial for the person that says them?
I just think that we really need to take a look at what's important, and I think tweets and likes and all of that can really just wear people down. So I think people should engage in person and see what that's like.
Is it a necessary evil to be involved in legislatures and boards and all of those things? Do you have to deal with social media as part and parcel of the gig?
I hope not. I mean, I've talked to members that are less involved, and even some of our county commissioners are less on social than others. So I just think that can derail people, and there's too much negativity on some of those platforms.
What do you know now that you didn't know 18 years ago about how our government works?
I know there's a lot of good people that want to do the right thing for the people they represent. So that's probably one thing people don't realize. They might look at Harrisburg as something instead of someone.
Would you happen to want to share a closing statement? It looked like you almost got emotional for a second.
Yeah, sometimes.
Good. That shows you care.
Right.
All right. What would you tell people if this is the last time, and on radio it's going to be the last time that you're 14th District state rep? What message would you have for your constituency after 18 years?
I did my best when I was there, and it's someone else's turn, and they'll be better.
It is an absolute honor that you came in and did this, and you're getting emotional. That's why I'm going to vote for you. Whatever board you run on, I'm getting involved in it.
All right. Thanks, Eddie.
All right. Jim Marshall on Teleforum.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or watch the best of Beaver County live on Facebook or YouTube video this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. The program is made possible by St. Barnabas. For over 3 years now, the show has been dedicated to shining light on the great things going on right here in your neighborhood. and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests who are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. Archived Best of Beaver County videos can be viewed on the WBVP WMBA Facebook page. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11.